Right. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Inshallah, today we'll take a little bit of revision. Kitab al-Zakah. After that, we'll move on to Surah Quraysh, the meaning. And then we'll take a lot more Arabic, bi-idhnillah. Khaybar, give us some of the masail we took. So when we took Kitab al-Zakah, we've spoken about conditions of Zakah. We spoke about Nisab. We spoke about reaching a threshold. We spoke about the Hanafis add Bulugh and Aql in there. Then we moved on to Zakatul Ibil, Zakatul Baqar, Zakatul Ghanam. And Sheikh Saeed, to answer your question, in some books you might find Sadaqatul Baqar, for example. Zakah and Sadaqah, generally, depending on the context, it may be used for one and the same thing. So at times, you may find in a hadith or in some of the ayat of the Quran, the word Sadaqah comes, but it's referring to compulsory zakah. خُذْ مِنْ أَمْوَالِهِمْ صَدَقَةً تُطَهِّرُهُم. خُذْ مِنْ أَمْوَالِهِمْ صَدَقَةً, i.e. zakah. So we took Zakatul Ibil, Zakatul Baqar, Zakatul Ghanam, camels, cows, and sheep. And then we also spoke about Zakatul Khayl. And we said Imam Abu Hanifa has an opinion where you pay zakah on horses. After that, we took a few miscellaneous masail, which were, I wouldn't say odd masail, but I would say ones which are slight exceptions to the rule. Khaybar, please tell us some of those masail. Give me one masala that we took.
So one of the masail was if you have only small of the animals, only one size of the small camel, just a small camel.
If there's only babies, for example, only baby camels or baby calves or baby goats, we said that Imam Abu Hanifa and Imam Muhammad, they said there's no zakah on those. Unless they've got big ones with them. Imam Abu Yusuf says as long as they reach the threshold, there's zakah on it. I said I would get you that detail. Inshallah, I'll give you that detail on that tomorrow. So he says that in the same way, if you had camels which were all sick, you would take from one of those which were sick or unwell. Give me another masala, Umar, that we took.
Another masala of if we have bint labun to give, and we only have bint makhad, then we give the additional amount on it, and same vice versa.
Ahsan. So in the Hanafi madhab, they are much more lenient when it comes to paying bil qimah, according to the monetary value. So we said bint makhad, you've got bint makhad here, and you've got bint labun. Labun is more expensive, okay? So if a person owes bint makhad, okay, but they've only got this more expensive one, they can pay it and they look at what's the difference in value and they can get it back. You understand? And the opposite is also true. The opposite is also true. Give me another mas'ala that we took. Who else was here? Alam Gheer.
Sheikh, we learned about Daf'ul Qima.
Daf'ul Qima.
Yeah, we can pay in the monetary term because of the Hanafi madhab.
Yes,
we also
the Hanafi
learned about.
Yes. So what are some of the examples? They said you can pay monetary. They said if you've got zakat to give on camels, for example, or goats, you can work out its value and you just give the money. Or if you've got sadaqatul fitr or zakatul fitr, they said you can give it in monetary terms, not necessarily the grain. Also, when it comes to kafarat, except the kafara that's freeing a slave, even though there's no slaves today, they said that there you can give, you work out what you owe. So for example, you have to feed 10 poor people, you work out its monetary value and you can give it. Another mas'ala we took, Khaybar. These were all the loose
what
ends.
happens if the increase in animals? So at the beginning of the year you have 5 camels, and towards the end, the last 2 weeks you have 115. What happens?
Yeah.
According to Hanafi fiqh, you pay for 120, the whole where you have at the end.
You'll pay on all of them, and that's called benefiting in the year. And that's also when it comes to your business. So for example, let's say you started your business here, you're a small businessman, and but you own nisab. Let's say you own $10,000, okay? Your goods, your stock, your money, everything in your bank is worth, okay, let's say 20,000. First month, second month, third, fourth, fifth, up to the 11th month. In the 11th month, let's say you've now I don't know, the fastest example to give you is a crypto example. Let's say you became a crypto billionaire just here, and you had 2 million, for example. Here you're going to pay zakah on 2 million, even though you've only held it for a week or 2 weeks, as long as you're holding it here at the end of the year. So for example, let's say 2 days before, your market had to crash and you went all the way down to 0, literally, you're not going to pay any zakah because you did not hold nisab for the whole year. The nisab here, you went below nisab, so you owe nothing. And similarly, if you had 2 million and then you went down to like 20,000 again, you would only pay zakah on 20,000. So much so the Hanafi madhab says, you look at the beginning of the year, the end of the year, and regardless of what happens in between, as long as you're above nisab. So as long as you, let's say this is your nisab line, as long as you're above this line and you're floating between 20,000, 30,000, 50,000, 100,000, a million, 100,000 again, as long as you're floating above this line, we'll just look at the beginning of the year, you had 20,000, end of the year, you had 30,000 example. And ignoring what's here. So if somebody had 100 million here, and then they lost and went back down to 20,000, they won't be paying zakah on that 100 million. You understood? Any other mas'ala we took, or was that about it?
If they are destroyed.
Okay, Hanafi madhab, we said that if you've got animals and you've got to give zakah on them and you don't give zakah, so for example, let's say this is the beginning of the year and this is the end of the year, and here zakah becomes compulsory. Somebody has to pay 1 bint laboon, for example, here, and he doesn't pay, and it carries to the next year. Either he refused to give the sa'i, or he forgot, or, and then all of a sudden, first month here, you've got a flood and everything's destroyed. According to the Hanafi madhab, he doesn't have to pay zakah on it because zakah is according to that piece of wealth or that item. The item is no longer there. They differentiate between what's his fault and what's not his fault. So what's not his fault, for example, natural disaster. What is his fault is, for example, let's say he's the one who is careless, doesn't look after them, etc. Any other mas'ala we took in these?
We learned about zakatul dain, taqdeem zakah.
Zakatul dain, we spoke about that at the beginning. So zakah on debt, and we also spoke about bringing your zakah forward. And I gave you the example. Let's say a person has already given their zakah, and then you've got a natural disaster that happens now. People are encouraged to give sadaqah and help, etc. Let's say they're unable to, so you find ulama will tell them, okay, you businessmen, you gave zakah in this month here, start giving for next year also. How is it possible? Generally, with those who have businesses, it's possible because businessman knows that during the year, he might need to pay 100,000 in zakah, or 200,000, or 1 million. The higher your figures go, it's harder to pay a lump sum in charity. So what they do, a lot of them, is they space out the zakah. So first month they'll give like 100,000, next month 100,000, next month. When they reach the end of the year, they'll work it out properly, and they'll see if they're owing anything extra. So what they tell them is, okay, start giving your zakah for this year also, and you can start giving your zakah for the next year in advance. So those are masail we took. Inshallah, I'm quite sure that they're all clear and you've learned them properly. Every now and then I'll be asking you on these masail so you don't forget. We'll move on to zuru' wa thimar, which is your crops and your fruits, and Hanafis also include vegetables in there. And then after that, we'll move on to gold and silver and money and stock inventory, inshallah. Any other questions from what we've taken before we move on?
Yes, Sheikh. So whatever we've learned, these are rulings regarding animals that travel freely on the earth. They eat from what Allah has provided.
Yes, as-sa'imah. There's only one madhab that differs. There's the Maliki madhab. They say that whether you feed them or not, whether it's sa'imah or not, you pay zakah on it. But when we get to the Maliki madhab, you take it. For now, sa'imah is where they eat for half the year or more, natural grazing. As for a person who's buying hay, who's feeding them for most of the year, who needs to grow grass and cut it and give it to them, then that's different. They don't have to pay zakah on it. Also, we said that there's no zakah on any animals that they hold, that a person uses specifically for transport or specifically for working in the fields, for example. Zakah is on those animals that are kept for milk and reproduction. Right, so if you understood that, that's good. Inshallah, we move on to Surah Quraysh. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the previous lesson, previous tafsir lesson, we took Surah Al-Fil, and we mentioned that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed the surah, the chapter of the elephant, to show how he destroyed this great army that came to destroy the Kaaba. And some of the scholars mention Surah Al-Fil and then Surah Quraysh. Surah Quraysh is a continuation of Surah Al-Fil. So Allah begins by saying, Li'ilafi Quraysh. Li'ilafi, the word comes from i'tilaf, and there's two meanings here. One of them is Allah did this for the virtue, to show the virtue of Quraysh amongst all the others. So imagine there's the Kaaba, the Quraysh used to look after the Kaaba, and they had a big say when it came to Makkah. And all of a sudden, somebody wants to come and destroy this Kaaba, and Allah protects it. So amongst all the other clans, amongst the whole nation, amongst the whole country, the whole Arabian Peninsula, this news spreads, and everybody reveres Quraysh. Allah gives them a status amongst all the people. So Allah is saying that one of the reasons for him destroying the people of the elephants was to show the virtue of Quraysh, to raise them in standard amongst the people. Allah then says, إِيلَافِهِمْ رِحْلَةَ الشِّتَاءِ وَالصَّيْفِ. From itilaf, to say, did you see how the journey, the two journeys are beloved to Quraysh? Which journey? The journey of the winter and the journey of the summer. If you've been to Makkah, or you've heard of Makkah, you've read about Makkah, you know Makkah is very hot and in a valley, and there's nothing that grows there. It's very hard to grow. That's why Ibrahim alayhi salam says that he left his family. إِنِّي أَسْكَنْتُ مِنْ ذُرِّيَّتِي بِوَادٍ غَيْرِ ذِي زَرْعٍ عِنْدَ بَيْتِكَ الْمُحَرَّمِ, in a valley where there's no vegetation, no life. And Allah looked after them. So Allah is trying to tell Quraysh that all this I did for you, and I also bestowed my favor upon you by giving you people this ability to travel in the land. So if you look at the Arabian Peninsula where Makkah is, when you go up north, it generally gets cooler. And when you go down south, depending on where you are, it can get cooler, but it's because it's a mountain range, or you can find pockets where it's hot. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling them that during the winter months, you retreat to those places which are warmer, and during the summer months, you go to those places which are cooler. إِيلَافِهِمْ رِحْلَةَ الشِّتَاءِ وَالصَّيْفِ. Also, you live in a place where there's nothing that grows, but Allah provides for you. Allah granted you this ability to travel in the lands at a time where it's not safe, all because the people look at you as the people of the Kaaba, and they're afraid of you and they revere you. So Allah says, should you not worship him alone? فَلْيَعْبُدُوا. What should Quraysh do after being given all this? فَلْيَعْبُدُوا رَبَّ هَذَا الْبَيْتِ. They should worship the Lord of the house, because Quraysh were always proud and boastful about the fact that they are the people of the Haram, they are the people of the Kaaba, they are people of Makkah, etc. So Allah is saying their duty towards this virtue, towards them having been given so much, being respected amongst the people, is to worship Allah alone. فَلْيَعْبُدُوا رَبَّ هَذَا الْبَيْتِ. Then Allah reminds them of some of what He's given them. الَّذِي أَطْعَمَهُم مِّن جُوعٍ. The one who fed them and protected them from hunger. And as we mentioned, Makkah is a place where nothing grows. So Allah is reminding them that, hold on a second, nothing grows here, but we still fed you. We saved you from hunger. الَّذِي أَطْعَمَهُم مِّن جُوعٍ وَآمَنَهُم مِّن خَوْفٍ. And He protected them from fear. As we mentioned, they were respected amongst the other Arabs. Nobody would dare touch people of Quraysh. A few interesting points is, firstly, look at how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not only in this surah, but in other surah in the Quran, He generally speaks about sustenance as well as safety. Whenever there's no safety in a place, there's no sustenance, and generally people find it difficult to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why Ibrahim alayhi salam, from his dua, he says, رَبِّ اجْعَلْ هَذَا الْبَلَدَ آمِنًا. وإذ قال إبراهيم رب اجعل, in another verse, هذا بلدا آمنا وارزق أهله من الثمرات. After asking for safety, he speaks about sustenance. When Allah speaks about testing the people, he says, وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ, we'll test you. بِشَيْءٍ مِّنَ الْخَوْفِ وَالْجُوعِ, we'll test you with fear, and immediately after fear is what? Hunger. And if you look and you ponder over some of the places where there's no safety, you find generally the people also suffer from hunger. And generally you find that it's very difficult for them to practice or be practicing Muslims. Meaning at times it's very hard to read your Jumu'ah, it's hard to go to the masjid, it's hard to go everywhere else. Hence, we have got a lot to be thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for. You find that we wake up, we have electricity. I had one teacher who would constantly say in Medina, he would say that my father would always say, Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. I've been given, this was his father, he would say, I've been given things that Sulaiman alayhi salam didn't have, where I switch on the tap and you find hot and cold water coming out. In the olden days, you had to boil the water, up to recently. So we've got a lot to be grateful about. That's why in Surah Al-Takathur, ثُمَّ لَتُسْأَلُنَّ يَوْمَئِذٍ عَنِ النَّعِيمِ, some of the scholars mention that a person will be even asked about a cold glass of water. That's why it's mentioned that in one of the ahadith, the Messenger ﷺ was with some of the Sahaba, and then they had a meal, and then he said that the meaning of the hadith, he said, you'll be asked about this. So a person must be thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We take it for granted because we live in a time of great prosperity in terms of dunya. We've been given everything. I mean, we all sitting on different continents right now and we can speak. It's never happened before like this for everybody. No, it's never happened. Also, you're able to order, you're able to eat food from all different parts of the world. If you had to open your fridge or you had to go to a restaurant nearby, you find the spices are from somewhere, and the rice is from somewhere, and the meat is from somewhere, and this is from somewhere. And all of that, Allah made it easy for everything to get to us and for us to partake of it. So imagine Allah is telling the people of Quraysh at the time, saying, He gave you, you must be grateful. What about us? And how does a person be grateful? First and foremost is by thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, attributing all these bounties and ni'am to Him, acknowledging that they come from Him, staying away from shirk, staying away from associating partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. فَلْيَعْبُدُوا رَبَّ هَذَا الْبَيْتِ الَّذِي أَطْعَمَهُم مِّن جُوعٍ وَآمَنَهُم مِّن خَوْفٍ. Any questions? The other meaning at لِإِيلَافِ قُرَيْشٍ is Allah is saying, are you not surprised? Are you not surprised of Quraysh? إِيلَافِهِمْ رِحْلَةَ الشِّتَاءِ وَالصَّيْفِ. The journey of the winter and the summer is beloved to them, yet فَلْيَعْبُدُوا رَبَّ هَذَا الْبَيْتِ, yet they don't worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what should they do? They should worship Him alone. He's given them so much. He's given them abundance when it comes to the dunya. So why do they forget Him? Any questions or no questions? If you constantly go over the Quran, you constantly ponder over these small surah, you find it increases your iman. You become closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You're able to concentrate in your salah more. Imagine if a person is performing salah, and they're reading, for example, ألم ترى كيف فعل ربك بأصحاب الفيل. He knows what he's reading. ألم يجعل كيدهم في تضليل. And he's just left to ponder in awe of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has done. He's left amazed and speechless and in shock of the fact that he is actually conversing, reciting to the creator of all that exists. And all that, bi'idhnillah, helps you concentrate in your salah and appreciate all that. Yalla, where did we stop here? Who's here on book 1A? We stopped here, isn't it?
Yes, Sheikh.
Right. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We carry on. Is it too small or can I make it bigger? Right. We say here تبادل السؤال والجواب مع زميلك كما في المثالين. Exchange. Have an exchange with your friend, question and answer, as is in the two examples. What they're trying to teach you here, they're trying to teach you that there's a difference between masculine and feminine. One of the ways in which you differentiate is by adding this round ta. So for example, Pakistani referring to a man, Pakistaniya referring to a woman. So the guy asks a question, he says, Hal anta Pakistani? Are you a Pakistani? Are you from Pakistan? He says, Na'am, ana Pakistani. Remember, in Arabic, there's no P. Huh? And for the woman, they ask, Hal anti? So notice how you're already differentiating between anta and anti. Hal anti Pakistaniyah or yatun? The two dhamma. And then she says, Na'am, ana Pakistaniyah. Did you understand? So you've got one person who's going to ask the question here, and the other person who's going to answer by saying, Na'am, ana kada. Tayyib, Umar, you can ask. Sheikh Saeed, you can respond.
هل أنت تركي؟
لا أنا من هولندا.
Just answer with Na'am, ana Turki, okay?
Okay. نعم أنا من تركيا.
No, so ana is they want you to differentiate between the country and the citizen speaking about that country. So he says, Hal anta Turki? Are you Turkish? And he says, yes, I am Turkish. There's a difference between saying I am Turkish and I'm from Turkey. Okay?
Okay. نعم أنا تركيا.
Excellent. Omar, ask him the next question.
هل أنت تركية؟
نعم أنا من تركيا.
أنا تركية. I'm Turkish.
Okay.
Is there a difference?
Plus for the female. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Ask him the next one.
هل أنت مصري؟
نعم أنا مصري.
Ahsant.
هل أنت
Next.
مصري؟
Oh, stop. Who else is here? Adnan, are you going to try? Try.
Okay.
Where is Misriya feminine? You take this question. And where is masculine? Use this one. Right. Ask Umar Al-Madani. You can answer.
هل
No, لحظة. عندك الجواب يا شيخ بس. السؤال. يلا عدنان. Ask.
هل أنت مصرية؟
مصرية.
هل أنت مصرية؟
أحسنت. عمر جاوب. عمر المدني.
أنا مصرية.
say نعم أنا
نعم.
مصري.
نعم أنا مصرية.
أحسن. طيب next one عدنان.
Mafsal, can you just go over down on the screen?
Right. Can you see now?
How do you say Syria?
Exactly. They've given it to you.
هل أنت سوريا؟
Suri.
سوري.
Syria is the country. Suri is Syrian.
هل
وجاوب
أنت
الشيخ.
سوري؟
نعم أنا سوري.
أحسنت. Last question, ask.
هل أنت سوريا؟
Suriya is a shadda there, huh?
هل أنت سورية؟
نعم أنا سورية.
Ahsan. So here they're trying to teach you that you've got to start differentiating between masculine and feminine. Well done. Then you've got here, it says, هاتي جملا كما في المثال. Give us sentences as you can see in the example. So this example, they've given you a picture and they've given you who this person is and what occupation what's the occupation. So it's أخ and مدرس. They want you to say, this is my brother and he is a مدرس. So here you say, هذا أخي هو مدرس. طيب. Omar from India. Khaybar, you want to read? Khaybar, give us the first one.
هذه أختي هي مدرسة.
Ahsan. So why did you say هي مدرسة instead of هو?
Here is a pronoun used for feminine. She means she. Huwa means he.
Ahsant. Omar from India.
هذا صديق هو طبيب.
My friend. هذا صديقي.
هذا صديقي هو طبيب.
Ahsant. He's a doctor. طيب سعيد.
صديقي هذه صديقة صديقات.
No, look here. صديقة normal. Now they want to say this is my friend. هذه صديقتي. Just adding a ya.
صديقتي. هذه صديقتي هي طبيبة.
أحسنت. طبيبة. Look at طبيب was male and طبيبة female. أحسنت. Well done. عمر المدني.
هذا أخي هو مهندس.
ركز معي. You've got to now start saying your the and your za completely separately. Not هذا.
هذا أخي هو مهندس.
مهندس. أحسنت. طيب last one. Who else is here? عدنان, are you here? Read.
هذا أخت.
No, هذا is for masculine. What's feminine?
أختي.
Feminine. So هذا, this for masculine. This you speak about a lady. So هذه.
هذه أختي هو مهندسة.
هي, not هو. هو means he and here means she.
Okay, I just give the son.
What do you say?
I want to answer this one.
No, answer. We all here to learn. And the only way a person learns and they get better at what they do is when they make mistakes. If you don't make mistakes, you don't learn. You don't grow. Yalla, read again. هذه أختي.
هذه أخت.
أختي. So أخت is a sister. أختي, my sister.
هذه أختي.
هي مهندسة.
هي مهندسة.
أحسنت. Well done. Alam Gheer, next exercise. Tell me what they're speaking about and read. Give us the first example.
Yeah. هذه جملة كما في المثال. المثال اسمي خالد. My name is Khalid.
No, you're missing.
Oh, okay. The one here. سأبادل السؤال والجواب مع زميلك كما في المثال. المثال: من أين أنت؟ Where are you from? أنا من باكستان. I'm from Pakistan.
Okay, I'm going to ask you guys and answer according to where you're from. طيب عمر من أين أنت؟
أنا من الهند.
سعيد من أين أنت؟
أنا من هولندا.
ألمغير من أين أنت؟
أنا من ألمان.
عدنان من أين أنت؟
من أين
من أين أنت is asking from where are you from? So you say أنا, I, من, from, أنا من. Where are you from?
أنا من South Africa.
جنوب أفريقيا. جنوب means south. جنوب أفريقيا is Africa. So I'm from South Africa. Again.
أنا من جنوب أفريقيا.
جنوب أفريقيا. أحسنت. All this, if you stay with us for one week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks like this, and you'll find yourself getting better and better and better, inshallah. Don't be like other people who come and attend and they say, no, it's too hard. And then they stop attending. Then later on, years later in life, they regret and say, oh, I should have just stuck with it. If you're able to, come and attend, inshallah, you will learn. عمر المدني من أين أنت؟
أنا من فلسطين.
ما شاء الله. طيب خيبر من أين أنت؟
أنا من الإنجلترا.
من انقلترا. طيب ماشي. It says هاتي جملا كما في المثال. So can you see all this vocab? They taught you how to make the sentences before. Now they're trying to test you to see can you do it yourself. So you've got a guy called Khalid and he's just going to say اسمي Khalid. My name is Khalid. طيب all of you, let me ask you. سعيد ما اسمك؟
اسمي مارسيل سعيد.
أحسنت. عدنان ما اسمك؟
اسمي عدنان.
عمر من الهند ما اسمك؟
اسمي عمر.
أحسنت. They're telling you whether whenever the person is speaking, whether they male or female, you can still use the same pronoun. اسمي أكلت, for example. I ate, whether it's masculine or feminine. But the moment you're speaking to a person in front of you, here you're already differentiating. When you're speaking about somebody who's absent, he or she, you differentiating. Then this says هاتي جملا كما في المثال. Give sentences as in the example. So the country is called Turkey, and the person from Turkey is Turkish. So he's Turkey. So here the guy says أنا تركي, I am Turkish. أنا من تركيا, I am from Turkey. طيب Umar al-Hindi, read the first one.
أنا سوري.
أنا
سورية. أنا سورية. أنا من سوريا.
سوريا. أحسنت. طيب سعيد, next one.
مصري. أنا من مصري.
أنا مصري. أنا مصري. So remember when you were saying min is used when you're from the country, and when you speak about the nationality, you don't use min. Again.
أنا مصري. أنا مصرية.
أنا مصرية. أنا من مصر. I am Egyptian lady.
أنا من مصر.
I'm from Egypt. أحسنت. طيب عمر المدني.
أنا باكستاني. أنا من الباكستان.
من باكستان. There's no alif lam, huh? عدنان.
أنا من باكستان.
أحسنت. عدنان, last one.
أنا تركية. أنا من تركيا.
من تركيا. There's a difference between تركيا and تركيا. أحسن. طيب خيبر, tell us, explain to me this section, explain to all your new students, explain to them, tell them.
So here you got a few pronouns such as
louder.
you.
Louder, we can't hear you.
Here you got some pronouns such as I, you, and he. You use them with nouns.
Hold on. At the end of a module, they generally give you this yellow page here, or yellow and orange. What are they trying to tell you?
All the words that most of the words in that module and how to make sentences with them and how
Yeah, so
to
it's
apply.
more sentence structure. And they're going to tell you where you have to change the word and where the word stays. So for example, masculine, feminine, etc. So can you see here, they're trying to tell you that here, ana, anta, huwa are all masculine. Ana could be referring to feminine here, anti and here is all feminine. So if the guy is speaking, the man is speaking, he'll say talibun, okay? But if it's a lady speaking, she's going to say talibatun, adding that round ta at the end. Why? That shows that it's feminine. So she says ana talibatun, anti talibatun, hiya talibatun. Example, another example, Egyptian. Ana Misri, I am Egyptian. You immediately know it's a man speaking. Why? There's no ta. The minute she says ana Misriya, you know it's feminine. You see? Suri, Suriya. So one of the things you learned is a lot of the vocab, a lot of the nouns in Arabic. If you're just going to add a simple ta, you're able to differentiate between masculine and feminine, a lot of them. Then here they taught you how to ask a person, min ayna anta. Min ayna anta means, Saeed?
Where do you come from?
Ahsant. If you're talking to a lady, min ayna anti, you're talking about him, a person who's not in front of you is absent. He, min ayna huwa, where's he from? Min ayna hiya, where's she from? Then the person answers, ana min Pakistan, for example. Anta min Turkiya, huwa min Misr, etc. Then they also taught you how to ask a question with hal. Hal, you generally have a na'am answer, which means yes, or a la answer. So hal anta Pakistani, are you Pakistani? Either you say na'am or you say la. Hal anti, if you're a lady, and don't forget to add that ta. Can you see you're either going this way, anta, and it stops there, or hal anti, that way. How do you answer that question? You can either say na'am, I am that thing, or that nationality, or you can say la, I am not. Then they taught you about هذا and هذه. هذا masculine and هذه feminine. هذا أخي, هذه أختي, هذا صديقي, هذه صديقتي. They also taught you how to say ismi, my name is. Then you've got a listening exercise here. If you've got the tapes, you can listen. Also, they're teaching you how to differentiate between kha and kaf. So for example, here is kharra and karra, nakhira and nakira. And then you've got many different words, and you've got ayat in the Quran. وَلَلْآخِرَةُ خَيْرٌ لَكَ مِنَ الْأُولَى الْخَبِيثَاتُ لِلْخَبِيثِينَ فَخَلَفَ مِنْ بَعْدِهِمْ خَلْفٌ فَاعْبُدِ اللَّهَ مُخْلِصًا. So you can see all that is a kha. They're teaching you how to say kha. All these you guys can read, and you can listen to the tapes. I'm sure your level is quite high in that sense. After that, these are all listening exercises as far as I know. See, it says istami', listen, and put a tick in what you've taken. Now, the listening exercises are just to help you listen, or else you've taken all these exercises before, where you filled in or you've read. Same thing here. These are tapes. You listen to the tape, and you tick whatever you hear. So whatever you're hearing, you put a tick. And then now the listening exercise. Again, now then you've got kalam, where you practice speech. Let's see how long the module is. Do you have any questions with what we've taken so far? It's just basic introduction. We're still close to the beginning of the book. Saeed, you have a question?
I was just wondering if I would ask a person if he's from, if he's Pakistani, I would say to a male, I would say, Hal Anta Pakistan. To a female, Hal Anti Pakistaniya.
No, so if you here you ask him, are you Pakistani? You're going to say for the female, you've got it right. Male, you're going to say Hal Anta Pakistani. That ya references the person's nationality or where they're from. If you want to ask them which country you're from, you can say Min Aina Anta or Hal Anta Min, and then mention the country. So there's a difference when you ask, are you from this place, and are you this nationality?
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Omar, any question?
No, Sheikh.
خيبر, Alamgir, Omar Al-Thani, Adnan. So you've understood what we've taken so far. I want to
نعم نعم الحمد لله